Well, surprise, 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 everybody. Today we are going to do a bit more about pinecone stuff. We're going to apply our throwing skills that we have now to actual pinecone fight. Because I know a lot of you might not know about pinecone fights, but when I was a bit younger, they were a big thing. They're still kind of a big thing for me. But yeah, we're going to learn about pinecone fights. As you guys can see, this is actually a sideways video. I was thinking about that, and I'm going sideways. Yeah, we're gonna have mostly all sideways videos from now on. Yeah, let's get into the pinecone action. So, the first thing we gotta consider is where we're doing this pinecone fight. See this big old field? This would be very hard to have a pinecone fight in. It would be hard to hit your target, and it will also be hard to hide. Like if somebody has good accuracy, you can't always dodge every pinecone throw. So if we go over here, this is a bit more of a wooded environment. You know, if you're having a pinecone fight, usually there's a place where there's a whole lot of pine cones, and you're going to have an environment a bit more like this, where there's lots of pine cones and there's lots of cover and stuff like that. One of the main things you need to think about is space and distance management. So you want to know for a fact where you're out of range of your opponent, and when you're in range, and when you're out of range of your own throws, and when you're in range of your own throws. And managing those distances is one of the most important things. The next most important thing is awareness. In a pinecone fight, you need to be extremely aware, perhaps even more than an airsoft fight or something like that. Because with a pinecone fight, you're gonna have to be you need to know where people on your team are, or if you have people on your team, and where people on your opponent's team are, and you need to know where they are the whole time, and you also need to know if there's any pine cones that they're throwing. Another basic part of a pinecone fight is the difference between cover and concealment. As you can see, this wood pile right here, this is cover. If I'm hiding behind this thing, if I'm sitting back behind this thing, if someone's throwing pine cones from over here, they're not going to be able to hit me. However, if I move over here to these ferns, this is concealment. If I'm hiding here and somebody's over there, they might not be able to see me, but the pine cones still can penetrate the ferns. So you need to know what is cover and what is concealment, and when the best times to use those are. I bet the question you're all asking yourself now is, when is the proper time to use cover and the proper time to use concealment? If I'm using cover, that means my opponent knows where I am, and they're probably throwing pine cones at me. And if I'm using concealment doesn't work if they know where you are. If your opponent saw you go behind a fern, then the fern does nothing. They can still hit you. But if they saw you go behind the wood stack, then they'll be able to throw it at you, but they might not be able to hit you. And one major issue with both cover and concealment is that if I'm hiding behind this wood pile back here, I'm not going to be able to see if my opponent is sneaking around to the side over there, because I'm going to be sitting behind there and I won't be able to see them. So that's a problem with using cover. So okay, I'm sure you're saying to yourself, you know, what if I'm in the field like this and there is no cover or concealment? What are you going to do here? Another thing that you can do pretty much exclusively in pinecone
so you see, I can
stuff,
start out
maybe
here
Nerf,
behind some concealment and then move to cover because you didn't know where I was, and now you do know where I am. And you see here, when I start to run, I'm going to get close enough to the camera. There we go. Okay, and I hide behind that tree in order to thwart your pinecone throwing.
I want to add one thing, is that everybody has a comfort distance at which, when you get inside that comfort distance, they will try to run and they're not going to stand. Like most people. Some people, maybe not. But that's something good to know, is that when you get in a certain distance, they will try to retreat back to where they feel secure again. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. These are just a couple tips and stuff that you'll need to know before you do a pinecone fight, okay? Now that you got your throwing down, you get the tactics down, we'll have another part coming out soon. Thank you for watching. Toodles.